in my opinion, the downtown core is the beating heart of a city, any city. A council should, in the interests of all citizens, enhance the downtown no matter what. Is there any endemic conflict between downtown and elsewhere in town that would cause our side, your side kind of a split?
No, I don't think there is in the city of Salem. I think some people are getting unhappy about how the urban renewal funds are spent. Instead of renewing the area, what the city is doing is they're using it to put in sewer lines, and anytime anything happens in the urban renewal district at all, the money comes out of the urban renewal district rather than the 2008 roads and bridges bond. So the urban renewal is paying for intersection changes and sewer lines and different things, but it doesn't really renew the downtown or the property values. The idea of urban renewal is to invest in a declining area, to raise the property value so that when it comes off, the taxes then benefit the governments who didn't get their tax increment during the time of the urban renewal. So we need to look at moving along with the projects that will increase the property value downtown and then close it out. So the school district, transit, and the city get the benefit of the renewal district.
And that's the thing, it doesn't boil down to this. The urban renewal essentially channels the increment right back to that area, which can look like and be subsidizing certain developers, because the projects in a renewal area will be run by a few developers, maybe only one in some cases, developers. So the conflict comes when a city refuses to or delays the ending of the urban renewal area so that the benefits go back to the entire community.
Right.
That's
what I'm saying. Yeah, we spent $32 million on a park, which is a nice park, but all it did was tie up parking tighter downtown because people come to visit the park. There's not enough parking, so they park all over downtown, and that just starves the merchants. Once the park was paid off, that $32 million was paid off in 10 years, then immediately they sold a bond to build a conference center, which has had very little impact on downtown. You know, so there's $64 million that didn't do anything. I think the downtown should become a recruitment tool for the city of Salem to recruit higher income jobs here and higher waged people back to Salem. If you look at the state capitol, a lot of the higher wage people all live in Portland.
Sure.
Yeah, so those wages are wasted for us as a community because they're going to Portland. Why don't we make our community so nice for us, make it nice for us to begin with, and those people will suddenly realize, well, why am I driving 2 hours a day on the freeway to get to Portland when Salem is looking pretty good now? So it should recruit higher
and
wage
you're
jobs
familiar
for
with this
community.
data, I'm sure, but I think this will stimulate you to add another comment or two. The urban analysis data show that a person who lives in the suburbs of a town spend like 32% of their disposable income downtown. Disposable income in certain categories, you know. People who live downtown spend 70% of their disposable income downtown. Thus, if you want to energize a downtown, the answer is very clear. Get housing downtown.
Right.
And frankly, that ends up on the margin an argument for market-based housing, because if you get higher income people downtown, 70% of something higher is higher.
But I still think we need to provide for everybody to live.
Well, that's right. So there's a nominal argument against low and moderate income housing downtown, but it certainly could be put close to downtown.
Well, I always thought the O'Brien site would be the perfect spot for a huge housing development in there, of high rise.
And certainly the North Broadway area is kind of coming on in that sort of range.
Yeah, the city has spent an awful lot of money up there.
But yeah, I don't know, given your campaign, do you want to follow up on any of that comment at all?
Well, I'd like to work with Marion County, because on the third of the block, the north portion of that block where Courthouse Square and the buses are, that was originally a building pad for
Yes,
apartments.
I remember.
And they've never been built. Now, if we were gonna, there are so many employees downtown who would love to live downtown. Why can't we build a lot of,
Yeah, service sector people,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
they need
and give
fewer,
them a
they
chance.
need fewer cars too.
yeah,
I understand that the large Boise Cascade apartment development is not having a problem filling.
no.
In fact, there's a waiting list for,
Right,
so that would prove the point that
I think
hundreds
I
of
think that underscores
apartment
it.
complexes right downtown, there's a
Yeah.
waiting list for,
yeah.
so.
I think there's 114 apartments now, and they're building more on that site.
So I don't want the whole thing to be about parking. So we gotta move on to some
Yeah.
other, issues. We can jump back if we
Well,
think of
let me
anything
just
else.
talk about the Mountain West project,
Okay.
Yeah,
the apartments.
sure.
Because the city has given that development a lot of money. And one of the things they could have done, and they do it in Portland, is that if the city's giving money to a project, they would demand that X number of percentage of the apartments be
Right.
lower income
Right.
apartments.
That's a
You know,
very,
why didn't we negotiate that with the Mountain West people? We just gave him the money and we're just happy that he built something. Well, we need to think more, we need to value ourselves more.
the regulations that are now talked about here and other places and kind of closing the barn door after the horses come.
Yeah, I think we need to incorporate those things in when the city gives money to a developer so that we get a mix of incomes in buildings rather than just the rich people living downtown. It should be a wider variety of people. It wasn't parking, but
Yeah, well, no, but it has to do with parking, being that it's living, right downtown, you know.
They have enough parking spaces
oh yeah,
for their people, don't they?
yeah. And then hopefully those
Which is
people will
good.
walk downtown.
Yeah,